Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the Akim out there doing the work of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, in truth, faith, and in sincerity. All right, it's Brother Tazapah here with a continuation of the lesson that I did yesterday. So if you caught the lesson that I went into yesterday, I was speaking about the downfall of the current power structure of the Edomites, all right, which is all orchestrated by what they've termed the Illuminati. Now, in yesterday's lesson, I mentioned the guy, but I actually forgot his name. And so I have this video here going into a little bit on this guy, Adam Weishaupt, who is the founder of the Illuminati, all right, which was brought here to America in 1776, that whole Illuminati doctrine. Okay, and so I just want to go back and shed a little bit more light on Adam Weishaupt and the Illuminati itself. You understand? Because these are the people, which is that's all it is. These are the people. The Illuminati are people who rule the world, who rule and run the world. Okay, and I'm gonna quote uh, Job 9:24. It says, "The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" So the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Now, it's one thing to be wicked. All people are wicked all day long. You know what I'm saying? But it takes more than wickedness to run the whole world. If you're talking about world rulership, you need light, you need wisdom, you need understanding. And so this is all that they're saying, dealing with the Illuminati, that we are the enlightened ones. All right. Scriptures back that up. I'm gonna play this clip. You may need to play it in its entirety, but we will play the majority of it, and then we're gonna get the scriptures on it, because the scriptures speak about the Illuminati. Okay. So without any further ado, this is from Facebook Watch. This clip that we're about to see here, and it's titled Adam Weishaupt, or Weishaupt dash Illuminati. All right, so this is where you can find this clip, Facebook Watch, and again, Adam Weishaupt, Illuminati. So let's get into it.
Conceal the very fact of our existence from the profane. If they discover us, conceal our real objective by profession of benevolence. If our real objective is perceived, pretend to disband and relinquish the whole thing. But assume another name and put forward new agents. When you hear the word Illuminati, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it this? Maybe this. Or how about this? Over the past few decades, our society has been inundated with symbols like these. They're everywhere, in TV, movies, commercials, and clothing. If you were to ask a random person on the street what this symbol means, you'll probably hear the word Illuminati used 9 times out of 10. It's become known as the Illuminati Eye. It can be found everywhere from Taco Bell to soap.
Mr. Rothschild, do tell me how it feels to be the richest man in the world. One has to be very clever to make a fortune these days.
Perhaps, but far more clever to keep it. Really? Well, I wish you'd tell me how to make money on the stock exchange. What's the recipe?
The origins of the all-seeing eye symbolism can be traced back to ancient Babylon, where it was believed to be the symbol used by Nimrod on the Tower of Babel. God was angry with Nimrod and his people for their transgressions against the laws of nature, so he decided to scatter them across the planet and confuse their speech. From the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 9, quote, "Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth." End quote. So, when God spread the people around the world, He also changed their language so that communication between different cultures would become nearly impossible. Without a way of direct communication, these people were forced to use symbolism to convey their ideas. This is why we see the same exact symbols spread all over the world and found in every ancient culture. And this practice continues to this very day, where we see Luciferians using the all-seeing eye symbol as a way to reveal their true intentions without saying.
Now remember that term, Luciferians, all right?
A word. And this is the reason why the all-seeing eye symbol was taken over by the Illuminati. However, in order to understand the truth about the Illuminati, we must first take a step back in time. All the way back to February 6th, 1748, when one Adam Weishaupt was born. Weishaupt was orphaned as a young boy and was adopted by his godfather, who provided him with an extensive library of over 4,000 books. And it was here where he became intimately familiar with the teachings of ancient Babylon and the mystery religions. Weishaupt would go on to graduate from college with a doctorate in law at age 20, and 5 years later he would become a professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt, Germany. Weishaupt became obsessed with the Luciferian ideology he learned from studying the ancient mystery teachings of Egypt and Babylon. He envisioned a world where traditional Christian values would be replaced with those of the old world, and he was not alone. Behind the scenes, he would gain support of many wealthy men, such as Mayer, Amschel, Rothschild. In 1773, Weishaupt and Rothschild had a secret meeting at the Rothschild's family home. The objective of this meeting was to, quote, discuss world revolution, end quote. Discuss world revolution. Interesting. I wonder if there were any revolutions in the world around that time that might have changed world history.
Why come ye hither, redcoat? Your mind what madness fills? In our valleys there is danger, and there's danger on our hills. Oh, hear ye not the singing of the bugle wild and free? And soon you'll know the ringing of the rifle from the tree.
As it turns out, our founding fathers were all well-known Freemasons with the exact same goals as Adam Weishaupt, to usher in a new golden age of enlightenment. But that's another video for another day. During his time as professor, Adam Weishaupt would meet one Maximilian von Montgelas, who would go on to play a very important role. Quote, behind Montgelas was Moses Mendelssohn, and behind Mendelssohn was the Jewish call, the Jewish International World Government, end quote. Around the year 1765, the Illuminati had established a Berlin literary review, quote, with the objective of propagating the pernicious doctrines of shallow Illuminism and, in that, the infancy of German literature. When this periodical had scarcely a rival to encounter, the influence it exerted was more extensive than can at present even be conceived, end quote. As the order of the Illuminati developed, so did its ambitions, which would eventually expand into a plot to first infiltrate Freemasonry, then spread to the governments and religions of the world. Using ancient magic from Babylonian traditions, the goal of the Illuminati was to usher in a, quote, golden age of enlightenment by systematically removing the Western foundations of Judeo-Christian values and replacing them with the teachings of Babylonian mystery schools. Its members took secret oaths, pledging an unyielding allegiance to the cause, And through a strict system of monthly reports, secret confessions, and mutual espionage, members were watched at all times to ensure total compliance. According to researcher Le Forestier, quote, Illuminism was just as much masonry as the system of the Rose Cross, that of the Templars, or the crowd of Masonic French degrees, end quote. Identities were disguised and members used pseudonyms to avoid public backlash. Over the next 10 years, the Illuminati would grow in size and power and become seemingly unstoppable as they continued their reign of terror. And this would continue until one fateful day. On July 10th, 1785, Illuminati founder Adam Weishaupt was walking down the road with another member, a priest, Father Jacob Lang, when something incredible happened. Something that would go on to change the entire world and shape the very society we live in today. A bolt of lightning comes down from the sky and strikes the priest, Jacob Lang, killing him instantly. In what would seem like a freak accident, the townsfolk recovered the body and placed it in the chapel of Saint Emmeline, where it was to be prepared for funeral activities. That was, until one of the monks found something strange hidden in his clothes. In what would read like a scene from a modern-day spy movie, the monks uncovered a list of Illuminati members and instruction sewn into a secret compartment in his clothes. These papers were quickly turned over to the counselor of the government of Upper Bavaria. After realizing what was happening, the authorities set up a series of raids across the country. More papers were found in a variety of places and on many people, such as judges and government officials. One official, Baron Mendel, the Chamberlain of the Elector, was found with an iron box filled with papers concerning the Illuminati. As a result of these raids and discoveries, Weishaupt was banished from Bavaria and the Order of the Illuminati was forced to disband. Or was it? Remember this quote from the beginning of the video? Conceal the very fact of our existence from the profane. If they discover us, conceal our real objective by profession of benevolence. If our real objective is perceived, pretend to disband and relinquish the whole thing. But assume another name and put forward new agents. At this point, the Illuminati were forced to go underground. They had no choice and had to, quote, hide in plain sight in order to survive. And that's where they remain today. Or so it would seem.
So that's basically the gist of it. And this is where you get the term secret societies, uh, the hidden hand. Now today, you hear the term, what is it, shadow government? The Yeah, the shadow government, because they rule and reign from the shadows because their deeds are wicked. But getting to the scriptures, Salakia, right? All right. So getting to the scriptures, I'm going to start in Revelation 17. Because you got Hebrew Israelite groups who they don't want to deal with secret societies or the Illuminati. They say that that's not scriptural, it's not in the Bible, but yet these are the people that's running the world. When Second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3 says, matter of fact, let's go. There's so many scriptures that you could deal with on this topic. We go to Second Thessalonians. We're gonna come right back to, God damn it, we're gonna come right back to the book of Revelation. All right. So this is Second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now, perdition means destruction. So there are sons or children of destruction in this earth. And it's the same people I made reference to of Job 9 and 24, the wicked. It only makes sense that the wicked would be the ones that go into destruction. But the point here being is that it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, meaning the day of the Lord. The Lord, he can't return until all things be fulfilled on our behalf. See, when the Lord came here on the earth, he had things that concerning him that he had to fulfill. Now it's time for the hopeful elect to fulfill their role. And what would they be doing? It said, except there come a falling away, and that is all of the house of Israel going into captivity. That's been fulfilled on our behalf by us. We had to go into captivity. The Lord couldn't come down here and do that for us. We had to do that ourselves for our own trespasses, transgressions. All right. Then it says, and that man of sin be revealed. He has to be exposed, called out. That man of sin being revealed. Why would he need to be revealed? Because he's ruling from the shadow, the deep state. That's the term I was thinking about. Now they go by the term the deep state. In the past, the shadow government. But right, the deep state, because they they rule from the underground. All right. They're not they're not openly uh, ruling the world. They're doing it from the shadows. Now, their whole aim is to get to a point where they could just be out in the open with it. But by that time, if the Lord would allow, which he's not going to allow, but by that time, there won't be nobody here, to rule. There'd be a few people here on the earth with robots and cyborgs and shit and drones. That's the type of world he wants, not an organic, natural world. He wants a synthetic, unnatural world, But anyway, right, the man of sin would have to be revealed because he's ruling from the shadows. And again, today they're referred to as the deep state. So they have to be called out. You heard him mention the name Rothschilds. There's other top head families in the earth besides the Rothschilds. That's a whole nother lesson. We just want to deal with this man of sin and the Illuminati. So we're dealing with the son of perdition. Now, when we look at, I'm going to go straight to the point. Let's start here in verse 3. Revelation chapter 17, verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? So this scarlet colored beast, this is modern day Rome, all right, in the form of NATO and the EU. This is the power, the beast that rules this earth right now. The 7 heads being the 7 rulerships, 7 major kingdoms of Esau, Edom, and the 10 horns today would be the 10 primary countries of the EU. I don't have the list on me. I can name most of them. But let's start with the 7 heads. So you would have Greece, Rome, Germania Major, Germania Minor. Then you would have uh, Britain, France, and who am I leaving out? one more. Uh, Spain. So those are the seven heads. So again, you got uh, Greece, Rome, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Britain, England, and Spain. All right. Then them 10 horns, the 10 original countries of the EU would be Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Italy, Ireland, Greece, France, Spain. I don't know if I call Germany, and Denmark. So those would be the 10. Now, you can look this up yourself, but just remember the seven heads are 10 major kingdoms of the Edomites, the so called white people that arose throughout history. And then those 10 horns going back to the EU, and back in the ancient world, or prior to the EU, you had the European Economic Community, the EEC, which were the same 10 horns or 10 countries throughout Europe. So these make up that scarlet colored beast. All right, verse 4 says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and her filthiness of her fornication. All right. So again, let's go through that again. Revelation 17, verse 4, and the woman, this woman, none other than Babylon. All right, we're talking about modern day Babylon, this virgin daughter, which is America. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. All right. So now, in the video you heard, made mention, the father of the Illuminati, he studied the ways of ancient Egypt and Babylon. He got into the Babylonian ritual magic and the magic of ancient Egypt. So he brought that here to America. All right. This is why Revelation 11 and 8, it talks about that great city, which is America. It said, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. All right. But here it's saying, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, because nobody knew who or where this Babylon was. All right. This is in reference, just like I mentioned, spiritually Sodom and Egypt. America embodies that spirit of Babylon. Why? Because Adam Weishaupt brought that vibration. He brought that spirit here and endowed America with that spirit, that Babylonian, that ancient Babylonian magic. And this is why you see these rituals play out. The children that disappear, come up missing, they're doing rituals. Ancient Babylonian magic is what they do. Uh, Anytime you see some type of awards, especially the music and video awards, they're performing rituals. Super Bowl halftime shows, they're doing ancient Babylonian magic. All this is Illuminati doctrine going back to Nimrod and the Tower of Babel and at that time of Babylon, as well as Egypt. All right. So it's just important to note that's why it's a mystery. And you hear them talk about the mystery school religion. Yeah, all that is that they've adopted and brought those philosophies, those ancient philosophies, along with the deities that they they perform these rituals for. Because you do a ritual to procure spiritual favor from deities and demons. And this is the whole purpose. This is why they do this. So it says upon her forehead, and this was all to fulfill the Most High's prophecy of this. And upon her forehead was a name written, mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now, that's not so much a mystery, it's just that people are deceived and dumbed down so that they don't see it, but it's out there right now. Like he mentioned, you see the all-seeing eye is everywhere, from Taco Bell to the back of your dollar bill. So come on the back of your dollar bill is ancient Egyptian and Babylonian uh, magic, money magic. You got your sex magic and you got your money magic, and then that's it. Pretty much boiled down to those two categories. But right, this would be a mystery. Who is this Babylon? Where is it? Who is this great mother? Because at the time John Revelator got this, there wasn't nobody thinking about Babylon. It was all about Rome. So you got the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So Adam Weishaupt was very key and instrumental in America being this great mother of harlots. Through these wicked and wayward ancient doctrines and philosophies and ideologies, which he got through the Most High on the left hand side. That was all by divine intervention that he had access to these esoteric and outlawed books. You know, oh shit, and he knew that he could not uh, put any of this into effect out in the open. He would have to be clandestine with this. All right, so let's look here. There's so many scriptures. I don't know. I might have to do another part, but when you look at Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12, it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" Right? All right. So we're dealing with Lucifer here now, because the Illuminati run the secular, these harlot houses that pump out this. They push this plantation Christianity, this Renaissance Christianity. You're right. They're gonna tell you that this is talking about the devil and the actual demon himself, and yeah, he got kicked out of heaven, and the whole that whole jive, which that's all it is some jive. But when really, in fact, it's talking about them, those of the Illuminati. Remember, Illuminati means enlightened ones, the enlightened ones. Lucifer means light bearer. It literally breaks down the etymon of Lucifer, uh, Luce going back to lux in the Latin, and fer goes back to fair, which means to bear or to carry, where you get fairy. So lux, luxifer, or luxfer, lucifer means light bearer. A light bearer would be an illuminated one. Now, don't take my word for it. So when we look this word up, Lucifer, in the Hebrew, and you see that word uh, halal, halal. which means to shine or to be bright or illuminated. That's what it means. That's what halal means. So let's look at the outline of biblical usage. Definition one: Lucifer equals light bearer. Bam, plain. That's what it is. Light bearer. Eosporus in the Greek. Eosporus in the Greek. Check this out. 1a, shining one. Morning star. The scriptures talks about the bright morning star, that being Yahushua. Yes, Yahushua is the ultimate Lucifer under the Heavenly Father. So this would also apply to the Lord. But the Lord wasn't set up to deal with the wicked, so the Most High had to give them their own version of a Lucifer. Lucifer is not nothing wicked in and of itself, you know. So it says morning star, Lucifer. You you might read the term O day star. Right. That's like the apostle was going into Apostle Tahar. That first, that bright star you see first thing in the morning, you know, that's the day star. Now it says here, let's check this out. Uh 1A 1, it says of the king of Babylon and Satan. All right, what are we talking about? Mystery Babylon. So it said that this Lucifer is the king of Babylon. Now, who are the, well, yeah, you could say kings, but who are the rulers of Babylon? The Illuminati. So we're talking about Esau, Edom. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So they are indeed, in fact, and without a doubt, the Lucifer of this scripture. It's not talking about, even though it mentions Satan, Satan is a Lucifer. But he's not going to fall. It's his physical cohorts here in the earth that's going to fall. Then yeah, that last one, Halal, describing the king of Babylon again. So this is what we're talking about. We're dealing with the king, or in this case, kings of Babylon. All right. So that's what it's talking about. So again, Isaiah 14 and 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? So we're dealing with people here, men. The proof of that, I'm gonna read on down to that point, and I'm gonna just read through it. Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, who are the Israelites. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Right, the, the Israelites. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Is this Lucifer? This Lucifer, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? Now, Satan himself, the spiritual demon Satan, he's not a man. And he can come in the form of a man. He could take that shape and form, but he's not a man. This is speaking about flesh and blood men. That's why I said, again, verse 16 tells it all. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, because we're going to see him after his fall. And we're gonna say, man, I can't believe this is the man who had me punching this clock, had me scared, had me nervous when they pulled up behind me with them squad cars. I can't believe this is the man. This is that going to be the sentiment. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee. We're going to consider when this man had power, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake nations? Right, with his mighty military and all that, his police force and all his other what is it, his I forget the term, but he got all these military groups and police forces and stuff. And when the Most High get through with this devil, you're gonna be looking at him saying, I can't believe it. Is this that same man? So it's talking about a people, okay? The Illuminati, a people. So we'll go here and we're gonna hit the point, because earlier I mentioned about, you got it's people wicked all over the world. And some of the most wicked people are found right amongst the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Yet we can't even come together on nothing. We don't own shit. It ain't, what I'm saying that to say, wickedness in itself ain't enough for you to rule the earth. You got to have some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And that's where that whole term Illuminati comes from. They're saying we got the light, and therefore we have the right to rule. So here, Ezekiel 28:3, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Why? Because the Most High is dealing with them through their um, Lucifer, which is the spiritual demon Satan. So they carry his torch. Um, verse 4, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. And you heard in the clip he played concerning the Rothschilds, you know. Yeah, these devils own the world. As I mentioned in yesterday's lesson, they own this world lock, stock, and barrel. Why? Because of this wisdom. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, which is that's light. Wisdom and understanding is light. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. And remember, yesterday in the lesson, we went into how their gold and silver is cankered by way of the means that they got the silver and gold. You know, it says in verse 5, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Right, he's proud. And also in back in Isaiah the 14th, it said that the Most High was going to bring his pomp or his pride down to the grave. Okay, so you heard the man. He asked the guy playing the Rothschild. He said, uh, "What's your recipe for making money in the stock exchange?" Well, what is the stock exchange other than a means by way to conduct traffic, business traffic, which they still do to this day. You got a number of exchanges now. S&P, you got which is Standard and Poor. Uh, Damn it, I can't think of them no more. You got all these different exchanges, which are nothing more than a means for traffic, a means of making money. what is that other major one? S&P 500. But anyway, uh, the New York, the New York Stock Exchange, uh, NYSE. And those are just two of the major ones, and there's other ones, and these are just institutions by way they can conduct business or traffic. So, verse 5, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Now, here's something that you may not know, but in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, when it speaks about we would be sold for bond men and bond women, that happened literally when were in chattel slavery up on the auctioning blocks, but now it's happening on these same exchanges through our birth certificates. So we're still being sold for bond men and bond women through an actual certificate of bond or bond certificate, which is